Wiener.
Wiener.
Cool. That's our wiener check.
Yep. Weinerville.
This is day 2, Ty, of a weekend slumberville. we made a choice.
We did.
And by goddamn, we're doing it.
We stuck to that choice.
We did. We committed to doing 3 episodes over the course of a weekend.
We've spent a weekend together. We're on our 3rd episode.
We're both not hungover.
Surprisingly.
Very surprisingly.
Because even
actually.
afterwards, we were still...
Well, yeah, we kept going.
Yeah. We were watching movies.
I looked in the little whiskey decanter thing, and it was lowered. For I don't know why I decided to use that when there's still handles sitting around. But, here we are. We watched Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
Which I know we were talking about. It was good, but I think I was looking for a movie that I could kind of not pay a lot of attention to. And it was actually a really good world building situation that I need to rewatch because I have no idea what happened. So,
yeah, I definitely had a lot of fun.
Ziggy, you want to go out? Ziggy Sebastius was with us yesterday, the whole time.
He was super chill.
And as soon as you open the door, he's like, "Okay, we'll just let him do what wolves do."
Wolves be woven.
Wolves be woven. Well, let's talk about what we were going to talk about today, and then talk about what we're going to talk about today.
So we are covering Weinerville today.
We're covering Weinerville.
Yes, this is going to be our Let's Get Weird. Mm-hmm. And in full disclosure, originally we were going to cover this and an episode of Count Duckula.
And what's the premise of Count Duckula?
So Count Duckula was a British animated show that Nickelodeon picked up about a vegetarian vampire duck. And we watched the first episode, and
well, it didn't have anything to do with that.
No, none of that was involved.
There was some Egyptian tombs, some burglar ducks, and a saxophone that can bring back the dead. And yes, it was weird. But we're not a podcast that wants to trash anything necessarily. So we didn't feel like it was going to bring you all good content. We didn't think it was going to make for good conversation.
We didn't want to be complainers and just be like, hey, if you like this, yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're just going to say, yeah, that was weird. Cool. I hope you've enjoyed listening to us talk about that. So instead,
we're doing a double run of Weinerville.
Yes. It's going to be a lot of fun. Oh, what a weekend it has been.
Oh, what a weekend.
My kid is now fast asleep, I can pour myself a glass. But too many shows on Netflix are trash, it makes me wanna pass. I can't figure out what to watch, what am I supposed to do? Let's get drunk and rewatch cartoons when we were little dudes. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do, Whiskeylodeon.
Okay, tell me about this delightful beverage.
Oh, yes. So, I have made what I am dubbing the Hot Dottie.
Hot Dottie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what's happening in
So,
this?
this is actually a blood orange and jalapeno cocktail.
It's funny, you could fool me and say just by color, it looks like the one we had yesterday.
It is. It's very purpley, very bloody. But yeah, it's literally just a cup of blood orange juice, some agave to sweeten it up, some jalapenos and whiskey, and that's just shook it up and then strained to get the jalapeno seeds out.
I gotta say, this might be one of, if not my favorite that you've made.
I'm so glad.
Yeah. I mean,
And
Daniel's
we'll
cigar.
put the recipe. Oh,
that was the best one, obviously.
Okay, how dare you?
We didn't get sick or.
Yeah,
be
there was
hungover
no
for a
headaches.
Yeah.
There was no. Oof. You're a liar. Nothing against you, Daniel. We love you and thank you for trying.
He knows.
He knows. We absolutely told him. He goes, "Hey, I think I know what I did wrong." I was like, "Yeah, you did it. Don't do it."
And big shout out to him. He's the one who shot the trailer and all those lovely Instagram things you're seeing.
Yes. So big shout out to him.
So, where you failed in cigar whiskey, you shine in so many other areas.
Oh, so many.
Yes.
That beautiful head of no hair.
Of gold. Yes. Of no hair and gold. And, like SpongeBob's king, Neptune.
Yes.
Yeah.
He needs a crown.
Daniel does need a crown. We'll work on that.
We'll work on that.
But this drink needs no work.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm glad it came out. I knew I wanted to have something that was different. So that's something that's sweet but also spicy. I just felt like that would be the perfect thing for Weinerville.
It is. And what a show.
Oh, what a show. Did you watch this as a kid?
Yeah, I did. And it's another one of those shows. Like we're going to have like come up with the categories. Like this was a show I don't remember watching, but then rewatching, I then remembered that I did watch it as a kid.
Yeah.
Because immediately when you see it, you know you've either seen it or you haven't, because it's one of the most unique programs on Nickelodeon.
Oh, for sure. I had not seen this as a kid.
Okay, was this the first episode?
This was the first time I experienced this, and it was an experience.
It was. How do we how do we want to talk about this today?
Well, before we do, we got to share with you
the Teddy Report for babies.
So this has been a weekend. So Sean's been hearing a lot about Teddy. We've been finally catching up, and I like to think of myself as the kind of parent. It's like, look, if you're cool, I'm cool. Like, if you want cookies, fine. So Teddy came up to me. It was in the middle of the day. Oh, and by the way, we have cookies now. We got these confetti cookies. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Sabelles.
Yes. So yeah, Teddy just asked me, "Hey, Daddy, can I have a cookie?" And I was like, "Sure. Let me just go ahead and finish cleaning up your room, and then I'll get you the cookie."
I'm just gonna make cookie noise background.
Yeah, that's totally fine. That's not distracting at all. Yes, it's me figuratively getting a cookie that would never come, because this little kid goes out. He goes, "I don't want to clean," and then he runs to mommy. He runs to my wife. He goes, "Mommy, I'm hungry, but Daddy won't feed me."
Oh shit, he's manipulating.
Yes. And like immediately I was like, "See if you get your cookie now, bitch." And luckily my wife
said that.
I did. And luckily my wife, we've learned not to trust him whenever he throws accusations like this. So she was like, "I don't think that's what happened. Can you tell me what really happened?" He goes, "Yeah, he won't feed me a cookie." And I'm like, "I just asked you to clean your room, but if you're going to be like this, I want to eat that cookie." Correct.
Did you eat the cookie in front of him?
No, I'm not that heartless.
Okay, I was like, oh god, I was like, we're gonna get some mail.
Why are you so mean? In all honesty, I didn't eat the cookie. Well, I did, but there was another cookie, and he ended up getting it after he ate his lunch. But he had to wait. Like, it's like, look, if I was offering to give you something, if you were just like, "Hey, clean your room," fine, I'll give you a cookie. That's totally fine. I don't care that it's just after breakfast.
Sneaky. He's being sneaky.
But then
he knows what he wants, though. I will give him that.
He absolutely.
That's it's a double-edged sword. Or two
Sometimes
sides
he
of the
doesn't, though. That's the problem.
Okay.
Like he's very picky with what he eats. I'm like, all right, fine. If you're not going to eat the food I put out for you, then it's going to have to be your responsibility. Tell me what you want to eat. Because for some reason, and this is probably something I need to go through in therapy, it irks me to waste food.
Always a fun way to start
It irks me to waste food.
Well, yeah.
Like, if I make you something, you don't want to eat it, then I'm going to save it for later. But if you, take it and you throw it in the trash because you're trying to be defiant, ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. I know I shouldn't be laying hands on a kid, but there is temptation then.
We just throw the food back in their face.
Oh, my goodness. And so it's very much, yes, sometimes he knows what he wants, but other times he'll just yell, I'm like, "I'm hungry." I'm like, "Cool, let me feed ya. What are you going to eat?"
Yeah,
There's all even an offer of like, "Hey, I'll make you this."
This could be a cool exercise in coming up with some fun teamwork recipes. Does he like to cook with you guys, or
Not often. Sometimes he does. Most of the time, it's like, "I don't wanna. I just want to eat. I'm hungry." I'm like, "Well, I got this stuff that's prepared already that you can eat. I don't want that." Cool. Then just tell me what you want.
Yeah, he's what is he? He's 4 or 5, right?
It's 5.
He's 5. Yeah. He's
had
his play kitchen time. Now it's time for real kitchen.
He could have a dad that would cook for him all this great, interesting food that other kids probably aren't getting. No, he just wants pasta with Parmesan cheese on top. He'll might do yogurts.
How would Teddy do on one of the a show like Weinerville or like Double Dare or Legends of the Hidden Temple?
I don't think he'd do well. I'm not trying to bash my kid because, Teddy, if you're listening, I hope you're older also, but I love you. And my wife, I love Teddy. It's okay. But he just, he doesn't strike me as he doesn't like surprises.
How would you do on? Oh well, if he doesn't like surprises, get him away from Legends.
Yes.
How would you do on one of those shows?
Oh, I feel like I would crush.
I think you'd do pretty well.
I would have so much fun. Like it would be like I'm waiting. I'm excited. Like it is my dream. Like you know how I want to work out? I don't want to go to a gym.
No, you want to go for a fucking
I
obstacle
want to
course.
go for a maze obstacle course I got to climb through, American Ninja Warrior type
There's one
shit.
here in Charlotte.
I've been trying to get in.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
Let's not drink whiskey beforehand.
Let
Or what do you guys want us to do?
Yeah.
We'll maybe take a little vote. It's a terrible idea.
or like if I had like a membership that I could just go in a couple days a week and do laser tag.
Oh.
Like I'd go all out.
Interesting. I wonder if that's a concept. We'll have to look into that.
It needs to be.
Yeah.
Because I would very much, if I can find something that's engaging all over, I'm all over it.
Yeah. Oh, fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Man, I'm excited. Well, this episode's over again, much like last time, because we're going to go play in an obstacle course. So, okay. Your first thoughts.
My first thoughts were...
That was the cookie and the whiskey talking.
Yes. My first thoughts were like, wow, this was a very unique show. I've never seen something like it. So I was a little almost put off at first.
I was a little nervous because I was like, knowing that you hadn't seen this, I was like, I mean, you're gonna love it or hate it.
Yeah. And it definitely was off-putting, just to kind of be like, what is happening? Here's a man using his face on puppets, playing all these different characters. It felt like a sketch show.
And also playing the host.
Yes. And apparently turns out that at the beginning of season 1, like somewhere the first half of it, it was just all sketches. It wasn't until like the later half of season 1 that it started actually having like a plot. So I think it was actually really good that we watched the episodes we did watch, which were in season 2, because it did have like an overall arc to follow.
I see.
So
at that point, you had gotten familiar with characters, I think, at least too.
Yeah.
Whereas maybe it was a little misguided in the beginning.
I don't know if it was misguided, because you have plenty of sketch shows where there is not an overarching storyline. It's just a bunch of different sketches and it's fun. Kablam is kind of like that. Mm-hmm. You have different segments and it's all different.
I was going to say all that, but I don't think that's all that true.
No,
it has some that don't have any chronological weight, but then it has plenty that, like Repairman. Well, no, now I'm contradicting myself.
Yeah, you are. Like the episode itself, like you might have storylines of Repairman that maybe have a cycle to it.
Are you partial to either? I kind of don't really care, honestly.
I mean, I
like both.
I like both. I think I'm still more of an all that person, just because I have more memories that's like fondness that.
Sure.
But I would not be opposed to watching Weinerville again. Like I had a fun time.
Yeah, my good friend Chris said, you guys need to do Weinerville. And this was kind of like season 1. I was like, yeah, I think we will. I don't think it's one of the first things we need to talk about. And it fits perfectly in with the Let's Get Weird theme. So we're going to talk about, 2 episodes today?
Yeah, so we are covering season 2, episode 16 and 33. So Parallel Universe and Pollution.
All right. Before. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Full disclosure, we could not find where to watch this. We were very lucky that someone had uploaded those 2 episodes together in a single video, but we really couldn't find a source where we can just watch.
I don't think it's on Paramount Plus.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
And there was no other streaming sites. YouTube doesn't have a lot of full episodes. It was hard to find.
I mean, that's where we suffered through watched Duckula.
Yeah, but whereas Count Duckula has an entire YouTube channel that has all the episodes uploaded, Weinerville doesn't. And there actually is a channel called Weinerville TV where Mark Weiner, the creator and host, try to continue doing stuff, but he didn't really do much with it.
Okay.
I think there was a total maybe 10 videos since 12 years ago.
If this show got brought back, I think it would have interesting reception.
I think it would too.
And that's a cop out of an answer because interesting can mean anything.
And he actually,
but I think it would do okay.
He actually took the show to the UK and did it there for a bit, and now he does live shows doing the same thing. So he's still like out there doing his thing. But yeah, I think it would be a very interesting reception.
Yeah, I would watch it. I'd pay to watch it. This first one's called Parallel Universe.
Yes.
What are your what's your background and understanding of parallel universes? What's your like fun theories that you might have?
A lot of my ideas of parallel universe comes from comic books. Like just the idea of any choice that could have been made, there is a universe where that choice was made. And I like to feel like that is something that's true, that there are infinite possibilities, and depending on what you take, there is an opportunity that someone else, another version of you, took a different path.
So it's like those choose your own adventure books.
Yeah.
Like you're going to go one way, but because that branch exists elsewhere, that's another universe.
Yeah, that's another story to tell.
Yeah, within a potential multiverse.
Yeah. And so if I think about that, even before that, and by all means, I've stated this before, I'm going to have to say it again. I love Nickelodeon. I was not a sole Nickelodeon watcher. Like I watched other networks, stuff like that. So on Toonami.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to get roasted for that.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I don't suspect our audience is monogamous with just Nickelodeon.
Fair enough. I know lately, and I say lately as in like the last 10 years, it's been a lot more monogamous with brands. Like, hey, I'm either straight Apple or straight Android. I don't care. I like both.
Yeah, you got both.
I got both.
As we talked about.
Yeah, I got a work phone that you will only like let me text you from. And then I have my Android that you're like, don't ever talk to me on this.
He's right.
Yeah. So that's why I had to put that out there. But yeah, so there was a show I watched called Tenchi Muyo, and they had several iterations of it. So it was like an anime, and you had like the original storyline, and then they retold it, but like choices and decisions were different. And it was actually a really cool idea and concept for me.
Cool. So you got to kind of experience this as a kiddo.
Yes.
Yeah. I think these concepts are a lot of fun, especially because we, as far as I know, can't prove or disprove it. Mm-hmm. But it makes total sense on paper.
It does.
And it's such a fun thought experiment. Like I've talked with you or with anyone for hours on end about, and it just snowballs. And it just snowballs. It's a lot of fun. And obviously, we're not going to get to talk much about that in this episode, but it was a fun ride.
Yes. Fun facts. Turns out Weinerville started out as segments that just appeared on Showtime, Comedy Central, and Saturday Night Live in the early 80s. And then at that point, they just kind of came in. So all these different characters, like, Sako, which originally a Bronx boxer named Rocco. And then Baby Jeffrey was a kid named Mikey who rode a trike. And so at that point, he even came on a monologue in the 81st or 81 season of SNL playing Captain Bob. So he had these characters already. And then just finally had a chance where he could put it all together in one show that was his.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
I did not know any of that.
And then,
rarely do I ever know any of that. I said that like it was a new thing.
Well, he's been doing a lot, like in comedy. He had a series in the 80s called The Secret Life of Milton, in which case he played Hasidic versions of Bruce Lee, James Bond, and Tony Manero from Saturday Night Fever.
Interesting.
Yes.
I wonder if that was the parallel universe to the secret world of Alex Mack.
Possibly.
Are we doing that later this season?
Possibly.
Possibly.
That has not been determined, but I'm open for it.
In one universe, at least. Yes.
One universe. In one universe, we already covered it.
Yes. And in another, we will. And in another, this podcast is getting 5 stars somehow.
Yeah. So if you want us another parallel universe, give us a 5-star rating.
Yeah. In this one, whatever. But in that one, 5. Please. For those guys. Yeah.
So this show, cool. Going back to Weinerville, this show starts off with you have Dottie, and apparently this is in every single thing where it starts with her, she's with her assistant, and you kind of learn what the story is going to be about, and then she does her classic scream, oh, and again, Dottie's played by Mark. It's his head in a beautiful way. He looks fantastic in it.
He does.
And then the puppet body just moving around. And then you have a bunch of other puppets just around.
And the whole set piece, too.
Yeah, and you get to a whole set piece. But in this one, she is waiting on Captain Ozone. which this is the first time I'm meeting him, so I don't really know much about him.
Same.
But apparently she has a huge crush on him.
Yes, very evident from the get-go.
Yes. And at this point, like, he's like, all right, well, we're going to go see Dottie. I'm going to see this person that I like. Here are the coordinates, type it in. And his crewmate has not gotten a haircut in a very long time.
No, he does say that too.
Yeah.
A lot.
He goes, do you like my hair? Should I keep it? And the guy's like, hey, the hairier, the better.
Yeah, a hairy crew is a happy crew.
Yes.
Sure.
We'll go with that.
Okay.
But the guy can't read. So he ends up typing the coordinates backwards, which made me really feel, I was like, is it your hair or are you dyslexic?
Yes, and yeah.
Yes, and yeah. So at that point, they end up going to a parallel universe where everything is reversed. And at that point, you got Dottie reaching out to Mark, the actual host, who comes out and goes, hey guys, doing his cool little dancing. And then Dottie pulls up on the screen and is like, yo, this guy, Captain Ozone, should be here. And it looks like his signal saying he is in Weinerville. And he goes, I'm in the middle of the town. I don't see shit. And it takes a while for us to even realize this is a parallel universe.
Sure. Well, and they made it really, they simplified it, I think, in the best way they possibly could have. What you just alluded to is everything's backwards.
Yes.
And that's a really, I think, easy way for kids to understand, at least at the most rudimentary level, what they're trying to accomplish.
Right.
In a parallel universe conversation, I guess. Yeah.
It was the Upside Down before the Upside Down.
Yeah. He kept sending him back and forth, too.
Yeah, so he had a way of teleporting the guy. Well, no, he wasn't teleporting him.
He was beaming him down.
They were in a ship, and Captain Ozone was beaming him down to the backwards world, the parallel universe.
Right.
So at that point, that's when you realize in this universe, Dottie's the assistant. And then you have her actual assistant, who was like the mayor.
Right. And that place is garbage.
And they just keep going back and forth. Turns out, hey, we're going to give you a quick little haircut because when I was in the academy. So the Captain Ozone gives the guy a haircut. And he is a mess. His hair is crazy still. But he meets his parallel self, who looks the same. They act the same. They're moving at the same thing. So no matter what, he's still going to be this.
I was worried because... Not worried, but when he's giving him the haircut, it's like it's a very chaotic process, right?
Yes.
You just see a bunch of hair flying all over the place. And I don't know if they like tipped the trope on its head, but normally when that happens, when you cut to the hero in that shot, it's like they have like the most beautiful haircut. But no, it was exactly true to how that went. And it was like, I thought it was a really good punchline. I was like, oh, he looks... tragic. That's a horrible haircut.
Yes.
And I love it. And it was like kind of nightmare fuel. Like, I don't think I'd want to run into that guy.
Yeah, that guy looks like he is on something and will eat your face.
Yeah, but then you get to know him and he's only going to nibble on your face.
Just a little nibble.
Just a little
like
nibble.
a little love nibble.
Little love nipple. I apologize. Last night, I don't know why, I felt compelled to hit Ty in the nipple with the remote control.
Yeah, he was doing it repeatedly, just all soft, like, oh, I don't even know why.
And I don't know what that says about me when I'm drinking whiskey, that I have to like hit your nips with a remote. I don't know what that means.
But at one point, his wrist snapped and it popped my titty.
Yeah, and my roommate from across the room,
yeah.
like he heard it.
He goes, oh my gosh, are you okay? And I'm looking bewildered and terrified. I'm like, why did you do that?
And I didn't have an answer. I probably just pointed to the half-empty gallon of whiskey.
It's like, whiskey makes me hit Ty.
I don't know, Ty. We do a podcast where we binge drink. I'm going to hit your nips with a controller. What do you expect from me?
I guess.
But I'm going to give you cookies after.
Warning. Yes, and I appreciate that.
You know, as people do. Yeah, it's been a fun weekend, and we're capping it off with this episode. So,
For sure.
So he's walking around this town with this wonderful haircut.
Yes, and he is seeing like all his characters that have their typical trope of what they do, but now it's backwards. So at that point, that's when they realize, oh, we're in a parallel universe, and I honestly don't remember how they actually got him back, but we get to a point where like, hey, we have actually found out they're in a parallel universe. They got the coordinates backwards. So I'm giving them the right coordinates, but now I got to figure out which button are we going to use, the orange or the blue. And at this point, that's when we get to the playland, I guess is what it was called.
Which I completely forgot about this
Yes.
whole very important part of the show.
Yeah, so they have two parents that they then quote unquote wienerize, which is not the sexual harassment I thought it was.
Good.
And they become heads on puppets. And their kids are like, hey, we're on your team. And so the whole point was like, hey, we're going to play this game.
It's 2v2.
It's 2v2. And so you have the kids putting plates of, I'm guessing it's chocolate pudding.
We'll go with that.
Yeah, I'm hoping that's what it was.
You think it was?
I don't know. I mean, it had to be. Mousse, maybe, or it could have just been like a gel. I don't know.
Chocolate. It was a brown plate.
Yes, a brown plate of gelatinous material.
I hate that sentence. But also, my parallel universe self loves that sentence. It's confusing times.
And so at that point, they play their game and they figure out what button they're going to push. And I guess it was really fun. It reminded me of Double Dare.
Well, it just made me realize like this. I haven't really seen a show like this before, where there's this whole narrative that takes place, and I guess you could say at the climax of it, or at least at a really important part where something is going to happen in the narrative, this game informs what's about to happen in the narrative. It doesn't really matter, but it is basically Double Dare just wedged in between a sketch show with big-headed puppet people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big-headed puppet people.
Throwing gelatinous, whatever you fucking
I feel like
say.
that's a band name right there.
Big-headed puppet people? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd listen to them. Opening for Five Finger Death Sponge.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a cool way to break up the show.
Yeah, and they had a few like one-offs. So they had a puppet, I guess, called Boney. What's his name? It's like a...
Yeah, I didn't know what was happening there. I don't even know how to talk about that.
Yeah, it was just a sketch where it's like, hey, here's this puppet. He's waiting on someone, and he's waiting for 65 million years.
I know what they did there. So that was actually, that was a weird interlude, but they were also using that to show that, because it says 65 million years earlier, which means later, because everything's backwards in that universe. Because if you look, all the clocks are going backwards.
Yeah.
So the way time works there, it's irrelevant, but earlier means later. Later means earlier. So he actually still did wait for 65 million years for some bald white dude Daniel to show up and tell him that he doesn't have a message for him.
Yeah.
And then he sings a weird song, and then we're back.
Is get out of here, which apparently is his catchphrase.
He says he's bony and lonely or something.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
We
tried to talk about it. That's all. That's all we got for you. Go watch it. You'll know.
At this point, we get back and we have the captain there. We don't really see him after that though, but it's now said, hey, he's back, yay! And then we have
because the game gets him back, right?
Yes.
Your audience participation makes the good thing happen.
Yes.
As we'll see in the next episode.
It's like, oh, this is the right button. We're going to use this button. And now he's back. But then you find out that Dottie's assistant realizes that he was in charge back there in the parallel. It's like, send me there. What were the coordinates? And that's kind of the end.
And I loved it.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. It looked like it was at least on YouTube, probably the most popular episode.
Yeah, because these two got the most views out of any singular
So
episode.
Yeah, it made sense to talk about it. We were going to try the pilot, and I'm really glad that we didn't, based on the information that you just gave too.
Yeah, same here. Like at that point, seeing an actual arc gave me a more detailed description of what to expect versus just what was just the beginning.
Yeah, and I like this next one just as much.
Oh yeah,
but not as much as our ad break. Eric von Fursten II is a trashy man. He's littered all over our beloved city, and without the exploits of Eco-Man, Weinerville would be stuck as a polluted landfill. Oh, and did we mention his only success was designing stain-resistant underwear and rain bonnet combo? Our city deserves better. This is why we need strong leaders like Mayor Dottie.
Mayor Dottie has faithfully dedicated her life to protecting Weinerville and befriending American heroes like Commander Ozone and Eco Man. Weinerville needs someone who will stand up to pricks like Eric von Fursten II and take a stand against those who would pollute our city. Plus, she never tried to design underwear bonnet combos.
I'm Dottie, and I approve this message. Hello?
This message is paid for by the committee to see Dottie and Commander Ozone get married.
Well, we've talked about parallel universes. Now it's time to talk about recycling.
Pollution.
Yay. He's queuing to me to stall so that he can finish his cookie. But what he doesn't know is that I just took it by myself.
And so he's eating his cookie now, so I can talk while he's enjoying that.
I can do both.
You are talented in that way.
That's all I got. I can jump rope my leg, and I can eat a cookie and talk at the same time.
See?
That's all I got going for me, though.
No.
Okay, I can jump rope my leg at the same time while I talk and eat a cookie. Fine.
Yes.
I'm
See?
just modest about it. I'm a little shy. Makes me nervous to talk about it.
So we cut to the open, and we get, what is a bird? Like a little blue bird.
Trash. It's a trash bird.
It's a trash bird. It's a blue trash bird. And it's...
I love that. I mean, it's a great opening. A blue trash bird just lands on the sill.
He goes, hey, I have a message to give. The air is bad. The pollution's bad. And he like keels over and dies. And she goes, oh my. And it comes back up. Oh, and the land pollution is terrible. And then he keels over. She goes, oh my. And then he comes back and like, and the water's awful too. And then keels over. Oh my.
My.
Yeah. Like 3 mice. Oh my. Yeah, there we go. And at that point, he goes, was there anything else? He goes, nope, that's it. Thanks. And he walks off.
Yep.
That's a funny gag.
Yeah, I liked it. It's like, cool. I know what's going on.
Yeah. So that starts the whole thing. So we get Mark coming on stage, of course, doing his cool dancing.
Well, she asked her assistant, like, hey, we got to do something about this.
Yeah.
And that's where he goes backstage of the office and then introduces himself as
Eco Man.
Eco Man. And then Mark comes on stage.
Oh, yeah, fair enough.
I was like, yeah, I think that's an important...
That is a very important detail.
We're going to see a little bit of that.
Yeah, that's going to come back.
I'm not usually the detail guy,
going to be
but,
a reference.
you know, someone's got to do it, you know? So, yeah, what's all Mark do? What's he talking about?
Mark's like, oh, the air is clean. And that's when he gets message, nope, the air is dirty. And then smoke comes out of nowhere.
Just nowhere.
Yeah, nowhere. Trash falling down.
It's funny. This show was 1994. We've been talking about this issue for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So I wish they could look into the future and we'd just be like, ooh, sorry, guys.
Still don't care.
Things get, we don't get fucks. Fucks are things that we don't give anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, we'll try to go back in time and do what we can.
Yeah, we'll do little shows. Maybe this will get people going.
Maybe.
And they have no idea where this trash is coming from. Turns out it's coming from their villain, VI2.
I don't remember his name. I couldn't understand it.
Version 2, yeah.
Version 2, V1, 2.
Yeah.
Zoltar in space.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
I saw someone get in a fight with Zoltar.
Really?
Yeah, it was on this photo shoot in Venice. Mm-hmm. Have you been to Venice Beach?
I have been, and
Oh, dear God.
Long Beach, Venice Beach, yeah.
Venice Beach specifically is something else. If you've been or you've heard about it, like it's just one of those like, ooh, I don't really want to be here.
Yeah,
We're being honest, not to trash Venice Beach, but it kind of does it to itself. Yeah, I saw this dude straight up get into a verbal fight with a Zoltar, and He was in my shot, so I think I ended up taking photos of him. Maybe he was punching the thing. Maybe he wasn't. I don't know. Only the photos will tell, Ty.
Oh, but there was a lot of words.
A lot of words exchanged.
Words of non-affirmation.
Yes, that's like the most polite way you can describe a fight.
I do not appreciate your words of non-affirmation.
I'm gonna start using that. It's gonna piss the other person off because you're really killing them with kindness at that point.
Yes, at that point you're just like, oh, well, this is inconsiderate.
Yeah, it's I'm stealing that one. Someone cuts me off. I don't appreciate your driving of non-affirmation.
Your actions of non-affirmation.
I'd be so confused.
I know.
Yeah.
But that's the best part.
Yeah. Confusion is the best poison.
Yes. That's the best.
Yeah. Wow, we've learned some things today.
Kindness is a poison.
Kindness is a poison. A lot like pollution.
Yes. Oh, that was a good segue. Good callback. So at this point, we are seeing V12 or VI2, whatever, the bad guy, Voltaire. Well,
Voltaire, the philosopher?
no. Oh my gosh, no. I totally butchered his name.
Now I can't even remember it. Voltaire?
Voltaire, that's what it was.
The evil space philosopher.
Yeah.
We'll call him that. Evil space ESP. Yeah, sure. Why not?
We'll just call him
Baby V.
V2.
So it's like 6 degrees lower than V8 juice,
Yes.
which apparently is good for you, which pollution is not good for you.
Do you know why? Because at 2, it's acidic. At 8, it's pretty base. It's
Yeah.
pretty neutral.
All right, so this basic bitch, actually,
This acidic
bitch in space. Let's just talk all day about what we should call him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The acidic bitch.
But he's doing some shit in space, I
Yeah,
guess.
he's like, I'm using Weinerville as my landfill.
Mm-hmm.
And man, is he a messy bitch.
He's going to fill up that Weinerville.
Yeah, all the shots are dropping on him.
Yep.
And so at this point, we get the hero Eco Man coming in and just clean up all the shit. And he goes, where's all this trash that we were dropping off? And that's when he pulls up. It was me, Eco Man. I'm cleaning up after you. And instead of being like, cool, thanks. It's like, well, we're going to stop you. And so we get the assistant to V2, whatever his name is. And at that point, the assistant sprays, doesn't hit anything, but it, I guess, confuses Ecoman enough.
The assistant sprays, is that what you said?
Yeah, he shoots like a spray out of his mouth.
Okay.
But it doesn't hit anyone. It's just to the side. It goes, shh.
Yeah, it just kind of squirts.
Just squirts.
Yeah.
And at that point, Ecoman gets trapped in a styrofoam cup, which isn't.
It was amazing. It just came right from the top of the frame and just slowly kind of dropped in, and you could tell that they were like, am I aligned properly? Because it kind of like shuddered a little bit, and then they got it on his head, and I was like, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at this point, now that everything's dirty and Ecoman's not there, we cut to, I guess, is Captain Bob. They're on a boat.
Right.
Yeah. And at this point, they bring 2 kids up, and they meet a fish that squirts water at them. And they're just standing there trying not to move. Like they almost look like they're terrified.
They also looked like they were having a good time,
Yeah.
but they didn't want to get splashed, but they knew.
Yeah.
They were told ahead of time.
Yes.
You could tell. Because they were just like, oh, when's it going to happen? And it happens a lot.
A lot.
So much so at one point you see just the stagehand with a 5-gallon bucket.
Yeah. So we see the slime, the sludge, like fall into one of the kids. And at another point, we finally see it's like, oh no, these are 5-gallon buckets full of the Nickelodeon green ooze that's just getting like bombarded on these kids.
Which I'm glad that, because that's obviously a staple. I don't remember the show being that. So I thought that was really cool. I was like, oh yeah, this was in that same vein of just like, we're going to slime you. You're going to get slimed on the show too.
And that was actually one of the things that they did in the last episode during the game. It's like, hey, winner gets silver hot dog, winner gets golden hot dog, and then they both get slimed.
Right, no matter what. And the extra topping.
Yes.
That's kind of their catchphrase, it seems like, right?
Right.
Yeah. You can't not get slimed.
No, absolutely not. It's Nickelodeon.
And it brings so much joy. Like, picture yourself and watching your parents get slimed in front of a live audience.
Yeah.
Dude, that would be amazing.
It's therapy right there.
It is. That is years of growth mindset just jump starting into hyperdrive. And hyperdrive is probably what Voltaire used in his during his space philosophy while he was dumping all this trash on people, and then it landed on a boat. And on that boat were these kids. These kids got slimed by a stagehand.
Well, it was really only one of the kids got really slimed.
Right, one. They're like
it's
go
like,
underwater.
Hey, we have two kids. We got a white boy and a black boy, and so at first I was like, okay, they're putting the white boy to go underwater, and I'm like, okay, because black people can't swim. And then no, the black kid was the one that was getting slimed.
How the hell did you just make this about race? Somehow Ty just managed to make it that.
It started there, and then I was like, oh, because they wanted to slime him, and I was like, okay, that's unfair. And then they brought the other kid back.
There's no way they were thinking that. It was two kids.
Yeah.
And the kid closest to the door that goes underwater was the kid who went underwater. If you just shift them over, the other kid's going in the water.
We don't know. Maybe in a parallel universe.
Maybe. Ty bringing it about race here. I'm like, I don't think so.
I'm just calling it like I see it.
You saw it how you saw it. I just saw two kids who were like, we know what we've signed up for. We're excited to be here, but and they don't say a word.
That one kid looked terrified. Like he was not. Like he just kind of like. Ew.
Yeah, no, he looked terrified. He was smiling.
He was smiling terrifyingly.
Terrifying is trauma, and that kid did not have a traumatic look on his face. There's no way.
Fair enough.
I didn't get that one bit. I thought, yeah, he was like, I think he was scared of like what the slime was going to feel like. I bet it's cold.
Oh, I think it might be.
It looked like he was cold. Honestly, like when every time he was like, ooh, like kind of like tensed up.
Yeah.
And I was like, maybe it's
okay.
Maybe this was shot in wintertime.
No, I don't think it would be shot in wintertime. I think they had to keep it cold so it lasts, and then it just barely
Well,
thaws
what I mean by
use
that
it.
is maybe it's cold outside, so the last thing you want is more cold when you go inside.
Yeah, but they're wearing t-shirts. I don't think it's cold inside.
But when you think about seasons, look, listen.
Yeah, okay.
Have you done like full body cryotherapy before?
Not yet, but I kind of want to.
Do you want to?
I do.
Yeah, okay. I would love to capture a video of that too and post it to our social. Like your first.
Done.
It's amazing. But I will say there's a difference from if you go during summertime and you go during wintertime. I guarantee you one feels better than the other. Because if it's like fucking 30 degrees outside, you don't want to go stand in a cryo chamber.
You'll just stand outside.
Well,
yeah.
My point is, he looked like he was cold.
Okay,
he looked like he was cold more so than he was like about to go through years of therapy over this incident. And that little boy was Ty.
It was
and
me.
He grew up to be a podcaster and a cookie eater.
And a cookie eater. Oh, yeah.
Here, you earned this.
Oh, thank you.
I have to catch it because we're... Oh, okay. We were like an inch apart, and I was like, I think I might have to toss this to you.
And I was like, nah, brah.
Dude, I got a friend who only throws overhand.
Why?
In this distance. We're what, 4 feet apart?
If that. I would say 3.
Everything's overhand. It's... Right?
It's so confusing. Like, at this point, it's like, hey, like, at that point, you're just trying to...
I don't think he thinks about it. Right? It's always underhand. There's no written rule yet, is there?
There's not.
But there is a certain like underhand courtesy distance. You toss underhand up until a certain point. Keys,
for me, if you're close enough, just hand it to them.
Right. We were almost in tossing territory. I like that. I don't love it, but I like it. Just tossing that cookie. And okay, keys for example.
Right.
How do you throw keys? If you have to throw them,
Underhand.
always underhand. I think a ball is either or, depending.
Well,
You're within what, 10 feet? That shit's underhand.
here's how I view it. If it's meant to be thrown, overhand's fine.
So like a baby.
Yes, if you're meant to be throwing a baby, overhand's fine.
You actually have to toss a baby overhand.
Oh no, doing a granny shot with a baby is kind of fun.
You've done this. You're not even doing a bit. You've done this. Pray tell, my lord.
This is a bit. But no, I'm thinking just like you're having the baby low and you're just kind of raising them up. Not even like letting go to toss them, but you're like just swinging up in the air.
Right.
So that's where I was going. And
But if you're
they're
throwing a
like,
baby
you're
at
a terrible
someone-
dad. You probably had done this.
I only the latter. I didn't say you're a terrible dad, but I was assuming maybe you did throw a baby. Like, this is a possibility. Yeah. And I'm not judging you for it.
Thank you for that.
Sometimes you have to throw car keys. Sometimes you got to toss a ball. Maybe even a cookie.
Yeah.
Sometimes
you gotta toss a baby.
Sometimes.
Oh, that doesn't sound right. I don't like that.
You said what you said. We don't have the capability of editing after the whatever minute mark this is. Sorry. We have pollution to take care of, Ty.
We do.
We do. So where are we? They're on this boat.
We cut back.
and it's on the racist boat, the SS Racism. And then what happens after that?
So they're pulling out from the underwater. They're showing like, hey, we got a school of fish now in hospital beds. We got a bunch of fish selling their homes. Like, they were just basically saying, hey, the water's awful and we need to fix this. So then we cut back to Space Voltaire. And so we cut to Space Voltaire, and there is a perfect cutout of the styrofoam where Eco-Man has gone through.
I wonder how.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Must have been because it was styrofoam.
Could be. Very thin. It was a styrofoam cup.
Voltaire is known for his writings, not his craftings.
Okay, this is true. And so at this
He
point,
wrote that, actually.
He did. In space.
In space.
In space.
I would totally watch a movie of all the philosophers doing some sort of like mind war in space. I have no idea what that looks like, but that's for you to figure out.
Okay.
I'll be the kindling, you be the embers that take this.
Mind games in space.
Yeah, you take this fire that turns it into smoke, which creates pollution.
Right.
Oh,
But Eco-Man gets out, and what does he steal?
I don't remember.
He steals their engine battery.
Oh, he does.
Because they're like, hey, why don't they recharge your batteries? They didn't recharge, and he just took them, and they had no other batteries, so they were stuck in space.
Damn, did he kill them?
Possibly.
If you think about the implications about that, yeah, I think he straight up murdered them. But over time,
It's not straight up. It's murder in the third degree. It's an accidental. I'm not going to save you, but I don't have to. I'm not going to kill you, but I don't
is that
have
what
to
that's
save
called?
you.
Murder to the third degree?
I don't know. I do podcast law, not criminal law.
Voltaire wrote that too. You know, he had a lot of time. Actually, that's where his origins began in space, because he didn't have anything else to do.
Yeah, he was stuck in space.
Started writing.
No battery, and so he just had to write.
Yeah. What was his assistant's name?
I don't even remember.
Did he come after? Yeah, he came after Socrates and Aristotle and Plato.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So maybe that was. You know who that was?
Who was that?
Testicles
I love it.
or Socrates. I can't remember. It's one of them.
Socrates, Tescles, Volvates.
Oh, Volvates. Yeah.
And so at that point, we cut back to Weinerville, and
Perfect.
yes. And the assistant comes by. He goes, "Hey, what'd I miss?" He goes, "You missed everything. Eco-Man was so great." He goes, "Really? Aw, I wish I could have seen him. I bet he was handsome."
No. Is that how it ends?
Yeah, that's how it ends.
Really?
Yeah, he comes in and they're like, they have no idea that he was Eco-Man, and he's just like, "Oh, I bet he was really cool."
Or handsome? Is that what it is?
I might have thrown in handsome because I'm looking at your handsome face.
No, he was handsome. You put a cape on anything, it's gonna be dazzling.
It wasn't just a cape; it was also goggles.
You throw on a cape and goggles? Ooh.
Yeah. And then not only that, no, I think he does say handsome because he ends up like doing like a wink. And when you get googly eyes, that does like a wink.
Well, they didn't know, at least at the time, how to properly capture that. Mm-hmm. So what they had to do was that was a completely still frame.
Right.
So they shot it. It was 2 shots. It was a completely still frame. Nothing's moving. It's just him with a googly eye, and then the next shot, it's him with a closed googly eye.
No, we see it. Well, they did. So it was that, but they did like a...
It wanted to be stop animation, but it wasn't quite there. So it had this really fun effect of just like...
It was a
little terror.
Transition. So you saw the transition where it just goes down and back up.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was done in such a way where it was just like,
2
or 3 shots. That's good enough.
They did that in post.
Yeah. Well, yes and yeah. Yeah. Yeah, man. What, after watching those, this is your first time watching it.
It's my first time.
How do you feel?
I had fun. I would not be opposed to watching it again.
Same. Yeah. I mean, and like, I don't remember any of the specifics from my childhood, but I'm so glad we got to watch these two.
Yes. And I will say, these were on the shorter end. So these were like 12, 13-minute episodes. So, like, I originally thought, like, oh, we got, like, this episode, and it's like 28 minutes. No. They're like 12, 13 each.
Yeah, because I think it's 22 for a 30. So I think they're 11 or 12 apiece, yeah. And perfectly digestible, especially after we didn't know what this episode was going to entail. I was like, I don't know if I want to watch anything else, but it was good that we got to do these two. I'm glad we were placed. And they were super weird. Like perfectly on brand for Let's Get Weird conversation. This is part 3.
No, this is part 4.
This is part 4? We
did 2 parts in season 1.
We did.
Then just the third, part 3 was last season. So this is part 4.
This will probably be the only one for this season if I...
Yeah, we kind of...
These are tough. They're getting tougher, I will say, because we're running low on new content for weirdness.
Yeah.
We can revisit some old stuff.
We can. I mean, we don't have to just stick to hey, we covered one show and that's it. Like, we can cover other episodes.
Sure.
But I also think that the only reason why we did 2 episodes of Let's Get Weird in the first season was because we knew we had to cover Kablam, but there was just so many different types of sketches. We had to cover 2 episodes in order to cover quite a plethora of it.
Time management wasn't quite a developed skill.
Yeah, we can go with that too.
Yeah. We looked over and we're like, it's tomorrow now.
Oh, we haven't watched it. We're about to record in 30 minutes. Can we watch it real quick?
No, I mean, we have been recording and now it's tomorrow.
Yeah, it is.
It was like that. Yeah. Well, this has been fun.
This has been fun.
Yeah. This somehow, I feel the most sober I've ever felt after the third. Don't you dare get a head start on your. This happened yesterday. You fucking snake, man.
No, it's a delicious cocktail.
Yeah, it is. Not sarcasm.
Yeah,
sitting over here,
right?
He's like, Sean's about to go into a speech. I can go ahead and take advantage of not having to bottoms up. And I got fucked by that yesterday because I had like 12 fucking alcohol-soaked Bluebins going down my windpipe.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Thank you. I don't have a speech. That was my speech. I'm watching that fucking drink of yours. We're at even. Look at this. Hold your drink up for me. We got about, I don't know, what would you say, 2 ounces left? 3?
Yeah, I would say 2. We're practically done.
And these are easy drinkers.
Yes.
Y'all really got to try this.
Yeah, we'll put the recipe up.
Yeah, we always put this on our story. Is that where you put the recipe too?
I had been posting pictures. I need to do better than last season. But yeah, so
that's the goal. We always want to do better than last season, so we don't.
By
get
the time this is out, our social media will have changed. So we will actually have like a 3-picture or 3-prong picture that will go up, and then behind those, like if you actually click on the pose, you can scroll over and it will show you the recipe there.
Yeah, I think it's called a carousel.
Yeah, a carousel.
Yeah, we're learning about everything:
podcast
law and Instagram law, how to save pollution. Not how to save pollution. We don't want to save pollution. How to fight pollution.
How to fight pollution.
How to travel to parallel universes. We've learned a lot this weekend.
We have, man. And our friendship has only grown. Like, I know some people are just like, I don't like spending all this time. But I had a blast.
Yeah, and I did too. And I'll have to recharge differently from you later. And he knows it. It's funny. We've had these extrovert introvert conversations, and they're really. Listen, guys, if you have friends who are extroverts or introverts, and you are on the opposite end, have conversations with each other.
Yes.
Because if you don't, it's going to be really confusing for probably just the extrovert. But have those conversations
because as the extrovert, speaking as an extrovert, I draw a lot of energy when I'm surrounded by other people,
and I can do that. It's more about how we recharge at the end of the day.
Yes.
So Ty's going to go home to his family and still get more recharging because he's around people. I'm going to play Zelda by myself, and that is going to recharge the shit out of me.
And I'm so jealous.
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to do bottoms up, and then you're going to call your wife, and you're going to say, listen, Hyrule can't save itself. I got to be there for my friend. And she's going to say, what the fuck are you talking about? And then you're going to say, I have a flat tire?
And then she'll be like, I've had Teddy by myself. And I'll have to be like, well, I had Teddy by myself. Well, you went gallivanting for your weekend-long, not bachelorette party. It was a baby shower.
No, you're going to say, there is a blood moon coming, and these monsters are respawning, and I am worried for my friend. How is he going to ever do this by himself?
You want me to be a man of my word, and I promised my friend I would be there for him.
And then you hang up the phone. And then divorce papers come, and, that's not my fault.
Can I move it?
Yeah, this studio is now your, we'll build you a little bunk bed.
Aw.
Yeah, that way you can be a top and a bottom. And speaking of bottom...
Bottoms up.